I'm Adam Zawadzkis, and I'm training for my first 100-mile race in July 2023. This is my weekly series covering each run from week 51 to week 77 of my ultramarathon training plan, spanning almost a year and a half. This is the summary of week 55 of 77 of the training plan. Still recovering from the weekend's big long run, I decided to start the week off with a 14-mile easy trail run in the local park to switch up the terrain and spend some time in nature. This morning was a balmy 41 degrees with no wind, and I wasn't the only one out here enjoying it, as I was butting in on some big congregations of deer on the trail.
What's up?
And saw a ton of raccoons, rabbits, and a persistent skunk I had to stop and walk way around. The soft ground definitely felt nice after clumping around on the roads all last week, so overall this is a very nice trail run. I did almost trip towards the end of the run because of all the roots in one segment of the course. But if you've run trails long enough, you know how to react quickly and save yourself. I was pretty bummed this one ended so quickly, but 14 miles were done just like that. Next, on Tuesday, I woke up after a rough night's sleep, but regardless, the calendar called for an 8-mile progression workout. This workout started out with a warm-up mile at an easy pace, then progressively got faster each mile, until the last mile cooldown, which was done at an easy effort as well. To start off, mile 1 warm-up was a 7:25, mile 2 was a 7:14 with a goal of 7:30 to 8, Mile 3 was a 6:56 with a goal of 7 to 7:30. Mile 4 was a 6:39 with a goal of 6:40 to 7. Mile 5 was a 6:19 with a goal of 6:20 to 6:40. Mile 6 was a 6:04 with a goal of 6 to 6:20. Mile 7 was a 5:36 with a goal of 5:30 to 6. And finally, Mile 8 cooldown was a 7:48. I was overall satisfied with this workout, and even though no records were set and nothing terribly interesting happened, I hit all of the splits as required and laid down another solid brick to the training foundation. Now on Wednesday, the calendar called for 8 easy miles to actively recover between the previous day's workout and before tomorrow's decently long run. I switched it up today and felt like doing an out and back with a small amount of elevation. The midweek shorter easy run is absolutely essential to me, as it gives my body a bit of a break before ramping up into the second workout of the week and the weekend long runs. I felt pretty good during this run, and the roads were almost completely empty at this hour of the day. One of my favorite things ever is to run around town essentially watching life switched on pause for a couple of hours. This out and back flew by quickly, and combined with the podcast I was listening to, I was back home before I knew it. Next, Thursday called for 13 easy miles. I chose a flatter route around town to run on before shredding some hills the next morning. This run went very smoothly, and the fog was really neat, making some roads very picturesque with the orange streetlights. This run also made me think about last April when I ran 13.1 miles for the first time. I remember how much effort it took to push those last 3 miles, but nowadays I can do a 13-mile run and just feel warmed up. I always credit that day last April as the day I decided I loved going for distance instead of speed and wanted to sign up for my first marathon and ultramarathon. Comparing then versus now, I ran 13 miles at an 8:11 average pace at a heart rate of 167 beats per minute, while now I ran an 8:03 average pace at 151 beats per minute. That's a huge difference and why I choose to be consistent every single day, no matter what. And 1 hour, 44 minutes later, 13 miles were completed for the day. Then came Hill Workout Friday on the Hills Course Trail. To start, I did a 2-mile warm-up at an easy pace. Then I ran an out and back 3-mile course with 5 hills each way, running up the hills at a brisk pace, pulling back a bit on the way down on each hill. Rinse and repeat one more time. Lastly, I ran a 2-mile cool down to cap it off. The purpose of this workout is to get some anaerobic and threshold work in, while also working the muscles of the lower body. So overall, this is the most intense but beneficial workout out of all of them, and should be done the least often, as it is quite strenuous. However, by doing this workout enough, you not only increase your VO2 max over time by teaching your body to clear lactate in your muscles between the uphill climbs, but you have to put a huge focus on your running mechanics, driving your body up the hill starting from your hips and glutes, down to your quads and calves, down to the ball of your feet, and ultimately helps out running form and economy. I didn't record this one once again, as I needed to be 100% focused, but I will during the next training block once I secure my first GoPro camera. To conclude, this was a good workout, but my legs are still pretty tired from hitting some leg workouts on Wednesday afternoon. But the purpose of this workout was fulfilled, which I'm happy about. Double run Saturday. Started off with a drive to a local metro park to meet one of my friends, the same one from 2 weeks ago, to run 10 easy miles. He said he wanted to hit a hillier route as he needed some variation from the flatness of his usual routes, so that sounded great, even after yesterday's hills workout. It really started snowing after we pulled up to the parking lot, which made for a nice snowy run. There wasn't a ton of accumulation, but enough to add a small difference while going up hills, but nothing too crazy. This was a fun run, and when you're with good company, it really flies by. A few hours later, it was time to head back out for 11 more easy miles. I chose a flatter loop route this time to even out the elevation change from the hills in the morning. This run was nice as it was 41 degrees, but I really just prefer to run in the morning regardless of the temperatures, as there's way less traffic to stop for and less pedestrians to dodge. I've also found my perception of speed is a lot slower in the daytime, as everything seems further away, which caused me to run a bit faster to compensate, causing my heart rate to be higher than I expected. This is just a bad habit that can be fixed from just running during the day more often. Overall, it was cool to run during a different time of the day, and loop routes make runs go by quickly in my experience. So 11 miles done, and a total 21 for the day. By breaking up those 21 miles into 2 runs, I felt better than I would have doing them all at once, so I'll probably be incorporating doubles into my schedule more often. And that concludes week 55. This week came out to be 74.36 miles of total volume, and we are now 3 weeks out from the 50-mile race. This training block has really flown by so far, and I feel like I made the week 51 video just yesterday. The plan now is to build mileage for one more week, which is next week, and peak at 80 miles. This big mileage week before a race is what's known as a peak week, and then after that follows the taper, or decrease in mileage, which takes place the 2 weeks heading into the race. I will be going a bit more in depth into these 2 very important aspects to a long distance training plan within the next 2 weeks. Finally, thank you for taking the time to watch another week in this journey, and I hope to see you in the next one.